I'd like to start by just very quickly saying in the next 15 minutes is my opportunity to serve, not sell. If you'd like to find out about me, if you'd like to find out about my business, you can connect with me on LinkedIn and we can have a conversation. So today I'm going to talk to you about your getaway vehicle from COVID-19. There's a famous saying that says if you want to be in the top 1%, you have to do what the other 99% of businesses and people are not prepared to do. Some of the things I say today you may not like, but I'm prepared to call you out. I believe that as business owners, it's time to control the controllables and to look inwardly first. There is no doubt that the coronavirus has had a massive impact on all of your businesses. However, there is an opportunity for us to invest in ourselves, to invest in our businesses, and to make sure that when we come out of this, we're putting the best foot forwards. You'll be delighted to hear that the game has changed, but the opportunity has never been greater. And today I'm going to talk to you about digital transformation and how that can really propel your business as we come out of lockdown. So I want to start by asking you this. Just how vulnerable is your business? How well do you know your ideal customer profile? Do you know where they live? Do you know how they spend online? Do you know how they behave? Do you know their gender? Do you have access to all of the right data? And for me, I see this all the time. Too many businesses have analytics set up. They've done all the hard work, yet they don't use the data. So do you have access to the data? And if not, why not? There is no longer an excuse to not have the data that you need. The next thing I would ask is around the frequency of communication. It's not good enough to go quiet during the pandemic. You will be judged as a business by how you respond and how you react. Your customers are still there. Yes, they might not be booking. Yes, they might not be eating with you or staying with you or visiting, but at the same time, they are still in existence and you can still communicate with them. We're going to touch upon your proposition. Does your proposition still solve the customer's problem or pain point? Or actually have times moved on and do you need to pivot? Do you have the right people in the right seats? This is important for all of us. As we come out of lockdown, perhaps we do need to change. Perhaps this is the best opportunity we will have to review our business, to have a real deep dive and say, actually, you know what? This person isn't right. And most importantly, have you got a digital roadmap in place? It is no longer acceptable to just fly by the seat of your pants and make decisions on the fly. It's time for us to set up a roadmap and make sure that we come out of COVID-19 fighting. So I ask you this, if you're unsure or that you feel you don't know the answer to any of these, it's time for you to take the next digital leap forwards. So today we're going to ask, are you and your business prepared to embrace digital transformation? For some of you, the answer may be yes. For some of you, you may be unsure. But hopefully in the next 15 minutes, I can share with you a few ways in which your business can start undertaking digital transformation. We're going to start with mobile first experiences. Can people book your experience, your attraction, your hotel, your restaurant, the list goes on their mobile phone? Can they place an order? Can they plan a visit? Can they engage with your experience? Mobile has never been more important. And it's our job to take people on a journey from the second they arrive to the second they leave. And you take them from an ambassador through to an advocate and ensure that they return time and time again. This is all possible through mobile. I've touched upon this earlier, but I can't stress the importance enough of data. You may be familiar with this screen. This is within Google Analytics. Without having access to the client data, how can we possibly make informed decisions? And when it comes to digital transformation, how do we know where to best spend our time? This afternoon, I'm talking around the 80-20 principle and actually how can we invest 80% of our budget on the 20% that actually works for us rather than the spray and pray methodology that I've seen all too familiar. I'm really keen to see how can we understand our audience so that not only can we serve them better, but how can we make sure that we're finding lookalike audiences that match the audience we already have. Personalization is huge, and the things we do around e-commerce apply in tourism too. How can we make the customer feel special? How can you feel like they're the only person that exists and you're talking to them directly? So think about this. How can you segment your data? How can you target people? And how can you get the right message to the right person at the right time. I talk a lot when I'm speaking around evergreen sequences and funnels. It's no longer good enough for us just to send one email and leave it there. Everything we do or should do should be within a process or a sequence. What happens if someone doesn't reply? What happens if someone doesn't open? What happens if someone doesn't return our call? Everything forms part of a bigger picture, and we need to map that out. For example, you send an email notifying them that you're reopening. 30% don't open. We then go back to those people and send them another email. We then go back again, and maybe we change our tact of communication. Just because email may be comfortable for you, it doesn't mean it's comfortable for your customers. Think about how you can go offline. In a world where email is saturated and everybody is bombarded now, how about we pivot? How about we change, and how about we stand out from the crowd? So think about, can we use SMS messaging? Can we use WhatsApp broadcast? Can we possibly just pick up the phone? Can we send letters? There are so many opportunities for us, but we need to start thinking proactively and not following the crowd. Reputation management is huge, and I'm sure the bane of your life for many will be something like TripAdvisor. It's no longer good enough to point the finger and blame TripAdvisor for any problems. We, as business owners, have a responsibility to maintain reputation and to communicate with our audience. It's time for us to stop operating this herd mentality, and time for us to start adopting digital transformation. I always talk about surprise and delight. How can you surprise and delight your customers? Let's take a hotel as an example. You turn up, you check in, everything's as expected. You go to the room, but instead of a stuffy old welcome pack that you've seen time and time again, you have a personal letter on the bed. It's got your name on it, it's handwritten, and it just welcomes you to the property. It invites you for a welcome drink, and it's all on the house. How does that make you feel? I would guess pretty good. It's really important when we're surprising and delighting, we're tapping into customers' emotions. When we're marketing, a lot of it is around emotion. After all, people buy on emotion and they justify by logic. So how as business owners can we continue to surprise and delight our audience to make sure we become memorable? Because with the volume of opportunities online, with the vast array of competition, if we don't surprise and delight, if we don't go above and beyond, and if we just stay basic and we stay simplified and we don't experiment and we don't push the boundaries, then guess what? Your audience will go elsewhere because someone else will want your customer more. So I encourage you all to think about mechanisms and ways in which you can surprise and delight your audience time and time again. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Digital transformation isn't just for your customer base. It's not just to bring in new business. There is a massive opportunity to sit down and map out your internal processes and procedures. How can we make sure that housekeeping is done properly? How can we make sure that the onboarding process is different? What can we do with staff and recruitment? There are so many opportunities to use technology, and we really need to sit down with a blank piece of paper and work through the business from top to bottom, internally and externally. I'm a huge advocate of marginal gains, and for any of you know me, know I love my sports. And when you look at the Sydney Olympics and you look at the British rowing team, or you look at the cycling team more recently, and you look at someone like Sir Dave Brailsford, you will see the concept of marginal gains. Digital transformation won't happen overnight. There is no magic wand. However, you can make small and incremental changes that will make a huge amount of difference going forwards. I always encourage all of our clients to keep a positive evolution diary. I use evolution more than change because change has a fear factor among our customers and among anyone I talk to. So think about how you can keep a positive evolution diary that tracks and measures your marginal gains and your journey of digital transformation. For example, day 1, we did this. Day 2, we tried this, it worked brilliantly. Day 3, we tried this and it was a disaster. But actually we've learned so much from that, we know what to do next time for day 4 and day 5. Surrounding yourself with the right people has never been more important. I'm a huge advocate of specialists rather than generalists. It's no longer good enough to try and do everything yourself. We simply can't do it. It's really important you surround yourself with those that know more. And it's okay. Hold your hands up, admit you don't know everything, and get the help that you need. For me, there's been various mentors in our business that have helped us get to where we would like to get to, and I still work with them to this day. But for you, I encourage you all to find people that can help you. It might be myself. It might be other speakers today. It might be other panelists. It might be other delegates. It's really important that you stop trying to do this journey alone. Building strategic partnerships, I believe, is where our biggest opportunity is right now. There are over 150 people on this call, all with some fantastic businesses. And actually, if we look a little bit more laterally, we can start to see the opportunity to work together. There is a massive opportunity to bring tourism back to Norfolk and to make sure that we come out of this virus fighting. So I leave you with this. It's time for us to take some responsibility and to make a difference. Don't be a green pod. Don't follow the crowd. Be the orange pea and stand out. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.